Now, just before we talk to William Clouston, leader of the Social Democratic Party, let's have a look at one of the heirs to the throne about to throw it all under the bus. Here he comes, Prince Harry, getting out of his beautifully, very well-appointed Range Rover, wearing some very nice clothes. I don't know whether he's being dressed by Dior today, like he was at the coronation. They put out a tweet, remember, saying that Prince Harry is wearing Dior today. Maybe he's wearing Versace or possibly Gucci. Who knows what he's wearing? But I can tell there is a certain whiff coming off him, and it's not too pleasant. There we are. William Clouston is here. William, a very good morning to you.
Morning, Mike.
So, I mean, we should start with the secretive unit run by Oliver Dowden to keep tabs on everybody, but I feel as though I need to get your view of the Prince Harry circus before we do anything. Lots of different accounts in newspapers this morning. The general feeling seems to be, unless you are somebody who is obsessed with liking Prince Harry and hating everybody else, that he's kind of overshot the mark a bit here, hasn't he?
Oh, probably. He's made so many other calls that are foolish. I mean, a lot of people in this country would wish that he just goes to California and lives a quiet life. And, of course, that option is open to him if he wishes.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to earn any money. He's got plenty of money. He could live a quiet life. And most of the things, a lot of the things that he harps on about are very, very first world problems, many of which are caused by himself. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, he has pointed out, I mean, he only has to win on a couple of these and he'll do okay, and there's a lot of mud being thrown.
I mean, I think the bottom line for him is that he just wants to make a point, and he's a bit like a recalcitrant child who, you know, won't eat his dinner because he wants to say something to you about life in general, or something that he's learned, or something that he's observed, you know. And the fact that he unilaterally wants to completely change the media landscape of Britain is all very well, but nobody's actually asked him to do it, thanks.
Well, I don't think he'll achieve in doing that anyway. I mean, obviously some of these issues are important, you know, hacking, and many celebrities have commented on it before. But we'll wait and see what happens. As I say, the thing that I find exasperating about Harry and Meghan is that they have the option to live a quiet life, and then they complain about people being interested in what they're doing, or they cause that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the cause of this.
Well, exactly right. And I mean, as I said last night on the talk, he's not the only member of the royal family who's been subjected to almost constant news coverage ever since he's been alive. You know, that's the case for an awful lot of them, and the price they pay for that is rewarded by the amount of money they get for free for doing nothing.
That's right. But well, yeah. I mean, they didn't all do nothing. I mean, I think Harry's again. He's got rid of his obligations, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he didn't have to. He doesn't have to do anything, and he's a very wealthy young man, and he's not really a young man anymore either. But I mean, you know, he was born into a very privileged world in which he didn't have to do anything except live in very big houses, get driven around in very big cars, and have constant security around him.
Yeah, but the point is, him and his wife are trading on their titles. And yet they're not prepared to do any work for it. So I would say no work, no title.
Also, anyway. Jenny Bond wrote a piece in The Independent, I think, today, in which she said, you know, if nothing else, you know, Harry is proving the point that words do have consequences. Well, touché, I would say, because he has words in his book that also have consequences. You know, he's invaded loads of people's privacy without asking their permission, including the woman to whom he lost his virginity, and he didn't seem to care too much about that.
No, and precisely, and made quite a lot of money out of it. So, yes, it's one rule for him and one rule for everyone else.
Exactly. Going live now, though, to the Courts of Justice, where Oliver Whitfield-Mirchich is awaiting for us. Oliver, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
So, Harry appears today. The only thing I could really spot was that he wasn't wearing a purple tie, and that was about the only difference.
He has arrived. He came via his fancy Range Rover, as you said, and straight into the building, not stopping to take any questions. He was due in court in around 15 minutes' time, where that cross-examination will continue. Andrew Green, who's representing the Mirrors titles, will continue trying to poke holes in his stories, pointing out to different inaccuracies between his written testimony, between what he wrote, or what his autobiographer wrote in the memoir, and what he is saying in court. And basically what he's trying to do is show that some of these stories came from already information that was already in the public domain. So via the Palace Press Office, via the Press Association, even via Prince Harry himself on a story that was written ahead of his 18th birthday. Prince Harry had already given that information to a news outlet, and then the Mirror had wrote it up. However, Prince Harry says there are a number of stories within that bundle which he does not believe could have been obtained unless it was by using illegal means. Stories such as when he flew back from a visit with Chelsea Davy. Somehow the Mirror had managed to find the exact date he was coming back on. He says that information would have never been shared with the press because it was all about his security operation. The palace was very worried about any leaks of that sort, and so he wants to know how the Mirror got a hold of it. He also wants to find out why the Mirror was able to publish a front-page splash about him catching glandular fever, something he says was incredibly personal, something he was deeply ashamed of. He'd only told very few members of his family about it, and yet after that happened, he says he was ridiculed at school, other children had avoided him. So those are the main lines that were going down here. The Mirror saying, show us the proof. Prince Harry saying, your journalists should be in court providing evidence, and we know that only a few of them are going to do so.
Oliver, thanks very much indeed. We'll come back to you later on in the show. Oliver Whitfield-Beardshitch there live down at the Courts of Justice, where Harry will be giving evidence for a second day. He'll also be talking to his own lawyer in addition to the one from the Mirror. Let's